say, we went through and created the two macro scenarios we're concerned with. One of them was a severe case of demand pull inflation. The other one of them was a severe recession. Now, the thing is, Unit 3 is largely about macroeconomic policy, fiscal policy conducted by the President and Congress, and monetary conducted by a nation's central bank, which is called the Federal Reserve here in the United States. The thing is, some economists would say we need to use policy no matter what. Other economists will say, no, the economy always self-regulates. We should not use any policy intervention at all. It's going to cause other problems. And still others say, is there any way we can determine if the economy will self-regulate or not? Because if it will, let's let it self-regulate. But if it won't, then we need to do something about it. And so it's a matter of taking a look at what's already happened and then taking a look at something we learned at the beginning of Unit 2, the leading economic indicators. Remember, the leading economic indicators individually and collectively predict changes in, what's the theme of macro? Total spending, which means they'll predict movements in the aggregate demand curve if enough of them are consistently behaving. So I've got two possible situations that could have happened with scenario number one, which is the inflation scenario. And so I want you to notice I'm picking up where the previous one left off, but then we're looking at what the economy is predicted to do in the next 6 months to a year. Stock indices like the Dow Jones Industrial and NASDAQ. Remember, shares of stock rise when businesses are more profitable. Businesses are more profitable when people are spending their money there. So an increase for 30 days, which is consistent, means total spending, if this is true, is going to increase. Actually, no, this is, oh man, I read this wrong. It's decreasing. It says they're dropping. My bad. Cancel. Back the truck up. When stock indices drops, it means businesses are losing money. Businesses lose money when people are not buying what they're selling. My apologies. But I want you to notice this first indicator is basically the opposite of what happened before. Before we had scenario, in this scenario, the inflation spending was rising, but the first indicator is predicting a drop in spending. But it's just one indicator. We need to look at some more. Durable goods like refrigerators, TVs, washers, and dryers, orders for them have decreased in the past 6 weeks. Finished capital resources like restaurant and construction equipment have also decreased. This means restaurant owners and construction business owners are not needing new equipment, which means that investment spending is decreasing. So you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste what I've already done here, since we've got something here that's repeated. Total spending is decreasing. That's two signs of self-regulation. Retail inventory for the past 45 days. Inventory is the stuff that is in stock at the store. If inventory is increasing, it means more stuff is coming in from vendors and suppliers, but less is being sold to customers. A buildup of inventory predicts a decrease in spending. Construction has been in decline for the past 6 months with low activity. People that work construction only get paid if they're on an active job site, which means a lot of those construction workers, they're not getting paid. That's a lot of people there. That's the drop in spending. Unemployment insurance applications increase when people are getting laid off through no fault of their own. Unemployment insurance pays less than 40% of your last paycheck. That predicts spending will decrease. I want you to notice that all this stuff has been steady over 4 months, 6 months, a month and a half, 1 month. We're not seeing any inconsistencies are all over the place. Now, this one here is indeterminate. And the reason why it's indeterminate is because it says confidence levels have dropped, but it doesn't say if they've dropped below 40 here. So we don't know what this is doing here. Now, of course, my knee-jerk instinct to say spending is dropping. And remember, the price of gold and silver is not a leading indicator. It's not a leading indicator, folks. Price of gold and silver rising or dropping just means whatever kind of problem there is, investors are worried here. But the whole thing was the problem we had initially was, okay, not an indicator. The bottom line here is 1, this is technically 2 of them, so 3, this is technically 1 of them, 4, 5, 6 out of 10 major leading economic indicators predict spending is decreasing here. So let's kind of like assess this as a result, okay? Results. 6 major leading indicators predict total spending will be decreasing over the next several months. This means which curve is going to move? AD will shift what direction? When spending drops, AD will shift to the left because that's the decrease direction here. Now, let's go ahead and see what happens when AD shifts to the left here. So I'm going to grab one of these tools over here and I'm going to put it in there. Now, if AD shifts to the left, even marginally, the problem we had was inflation. What's the CPI going to be doing after the AD curve shifts to the left? I'm going to put the locator here for the new CPI. I want y'all to see this. The CPI is going down, 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 like Jay Sean would have sang a few years ago. Is that guy even still recording music? I don't know. Anyhow, I am going to go ahead and I am going to copy and move over the CPI sub 4. I always like to keep these little tools on hand just in case. But I want you to notice what's happening here. Yikes. Did I put that in the wrong spot? I did. That was, man, this is why I don't like doing this stuff live sometimes. I always end up, messing it up on some level or other and so forth. And it's like I put it in the wrong spot, and that's okay. We'll fix this here. We already know what's happening. 84 here, okay. AD is shifting left. We already figured that out because spending was decreasing. CPI, we already figured out, is decreasing. So let's put that new CPI in there. And let's put our downshifting arrow there. Boom. But here's the question I asked you. The problem we had previously was inflation. I repeat, the problem we had previously was inflation. Does that movement of the AD curve correct the inflation? Well, inflation is defined by increases in price level. The CPI was going up, but now the CPI is going down. So the question is, does this adjustment here that's happening naturally fix the inflation? I'd say it does. Okay. Okay. Strong indication economy will self-regulate. No policy needed. Sometimes the best policy is to do nothing. Sometimes the best policy is to say nothing. Sometimes the best answer is none at all. But the thing is, here we have an example of our inflation problem where the economy self-regulates. Now, of course, somebody says, yeah, but what if it doesn't self-regulate? Well, let's take a look at another possibility. Now, let's take a look at these leading economic indicators for a moment. The first thing it says is stock indices are rising, and this is the one I thought I was reading first. Yes, absent my professor moment for the semester here. Stock prices rise when businesses are making profits. Businesses make profits when people are buying what they sell. Excuse me. And so rise in stock prices for 30 days indicates total spending will keep increasing. That's what happened the previous. That shows it's going to keep on increasing. I'm going to copy this because I wonder if we're going to see more of this. An increase in orders for durable goods, that's an increase in spending. An increase in orders for capital resources, also increasing. 6 weeks, long enough for it to mean, but the factories can't accommodate them. If the factories can't produce to keep up with what everybody's ordering, that's going to push prices even higher. Total spending is going to keep increasing, but prices are going to go up also. So is this inflation going to get any better? No, I'm going to say this inflation is going to get worse. This inflation is going to get worse here based upon that. An increase in building permit applications, an increase in construction starts, vendor deliveries are slowing down. Vendor deliveries slow down when they have so many orders to fill, they don't have to ship them right away to keep money coming in. And building permit applications means more construction activity, means more construction workers are making money. Yep, increase in spending. Average work week grows up. That means, wow, that means that those folks are going to be making more money, more money, more money if you're paid by the hour. And so that means that those workers are going to have more money to spend. A decline in unemployment insurance claims means spending is increasing. The only thing we have here that's different is the consumer confidence is starting to slip. But again, it doesn't say if it's below 40 or below 60. So this is indeterminate. And this last one down here, gold and silver, not in a leading indicator. So the question I have here, y'all, is what is our consensus about what's going to happen to total spending? 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. 7 major leading indicators. Okay, observation. 7 major leading indicators predict spending will keep increasing. Spending keeps increasing. AD will keep shifting to the right, which means CPI will keep increasing, which means inflation will get worse. Need to use macroeconomic policy to fix it. And yes, it's just that simple here. Now I'm going to go ahead and do one last thing here, just kind of nail this whole thing shut here. I need to grab an AD4 here. Give me one moment to grab one from over here. I forgot to just do a copy and paste and just move that over there. That was my own fault. Not a big deal. That's why I keep all these extra tools on the bottom just in case I need them. If AD keeps shifting to the right, wow, I'm starting to lose graph space here now. If AD keeps shifting to the right, man, look at what's happening to that CPI. It is going up, 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 and away like old Superman. Yep. So there we are. And then just, one last thing for good measure. Copy and paste and put that where it goes, just so we have a nice complete graph. Yeah. If we don't do anything in this version of that first scenario, inflation is going to get worse. People are going to get angry. It's going to cause some big problems. So I want you to notice here with this first scenario here, if the majority of the indicators predict spending is going to change and go the opposite direction significantly from what it did the previous period of time, the economy is self-regulating. There's no need for policy. However, if the majority of the indicators show that spending is going to keep doing what it already did the last 18 months, then yes, we need to do policy intervention. Now, let's take a look at the recession. Similarly, I want you to notice here, increase in stock prices that predict a spending an increase in total spending here. Now, I know I kind of jumped ahead here, but remember what happened in the previous 18 months for the second scenario. In the previous 18 months, spending had dropped. We went into recession. We picked up where that left off, but the first indicator we grabbed or looked at shows, hey, 30 days of stock prices increasing. People are actually spending money at those businesses. That means spending is going up. More durable good orders, more capital resource orders. Factories can't keep up. That's an increase in spending. Last 2 months see a huge increase in building permit applications. Vendor time is starting to slow down. Again, that indicates an increase in spending. Average work week is increasing. Workers that are paid by the hour are making more money. Total spending is increasing. Drop in unemployment insurance claims means spending is increasing. Jobs pay better than unemployment insurance. And these last two, one's indeterminate. Consumer confidence is faltering, and that makes no sense, but whatever. It's not saying it's really relevant to what's going on here. And we've already said the price of gold is rising. That's actually a good thing if you've had a recession necessarily, and you have other signs of recovery here. And so not an indicator. Our observation, we went into recession based upon what happened the previous 18 months. 7 out of 10 leading indicators. Okay, 7 out of 10 leading indicators are predicting a rise in spending. A rise in spending. Spending increases significantly. Which curve is moving what direction? Aggregate demand shifts to the right. If aggregate demand shifts to the right, what happens to real GDP? Real GDP increases. If real GDP increases, what happens to unemployment? More real GDP means more production. More production means there's a greater need for workers, which means more workers get jobs. If more workers get jobs, that means there's going to be a decrease in the unemployment rate. And the whole problem with the recession is people are unemployed and spending is down. But this shows me that this recession we had, we can conclude economy will self-regulate. No need for any macroeconomic policy. And of course, I always like to finish the graph. So let me go ahead and grab a couple of tools from the bottom here. And again, just bear with me for a moment. Make sure I copy and paste this time. God forbid I foul that thing up again. AD4. Let's do our rightward shifting arrow. Let's locate our new real GDP here in just a minute. It could kick an intermediate segment, by the way, or it could just stay Keynesian. Either one would be okay, I suppose. And then let's copy and paste that sucker up there. Boom. Yep. Total spending increases in the Keynesian segment. AD shifts to the right. Real GDP gets bigger. Unemployment drops. This is indicating the economy will self-regulate. Wouldn't it just be nice if all ways the economy was self-regulating, but unfortunately that just isn't the way it works here. Here's an alternative. Again, it's still the severe recession scenario, but take a look at what's happening this time. Stock indices like the Dow Jones and NASDAQ are dropping. That means businesses are losing money. Total spending is decreasing over the next several months based upon that predictor. The next one, drop in orders for durable goods, drop in orders for new finished capital resources. That means a decrease in spending. A rise in retail inventory means people aren't buying what the businesses are selling. Total spending is decreasing. Low construction activity means fewer people are making money in that industry, which means they have less money to spend. Spending is decreasing, pardon me. We have an increase in unemployment insurance applications, which means people are losing their jobs. Consumer confidence without a number is meaningless, so it's indeterminate. Gold and silver means people are worried about the problem, but it's not a leading indicator. So, bottom line here, what's total spending going to do based upon the majority of the leading indicators? 6 major leading indicators predict total spending drops over next several months. AD will shift left. Real GDP will drop. And unemployment. What happens when there's a drop in real GDP? Will increase. Recession is getting worse. But the recession is getting worse. Do you think some kind of policy intervention is necessary? Oh, yeah. Recommend macroeconomic policy intervention ASAP. Okay, what kind we'll get to a little later on. Now, the problem here is I've kind of painted myself into a corner with this because of the way I have constructed these AD and AS curves. So just kind of bear with me for a couple of minutes while I trim this thing down so it will fit, so it'll work, etc. And again, my apologies. I don't like wasting video time with this, but it's kind of necessary to get it to fit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop off a good chunk of the bottom. Okay, delete. I'm going to move this thing over here. And let's see if we can slide that on in there. Yikes, barely. It's kind of overlapping. Whoa, okay. No, this is not the neatest diagram here. It's probably neater than one I could actually draw with my fingers, you know. And so with a whiteboard, it's actually not so bad. But I just want you to take a look at how this stuff's going to fall out once it's all said and done. AD shifts to the left. Look at what's happening to real GDP. If you didn't believe that was getting worse based on those leading indicators, you now have your proof otherwise. And so, yeah, this is the recession getting worse. My whole point of going through these exercises here is not trying to show how good I am working with Microsoft Paint. Believe it or not, I'm about average. That's not what the issue is here. The point of this is I'm trying to use the graphs in a way they are readable in these videos here, so that way you can understand, hey, this is a problem. We need to fix it, or hey, the economy is going to self-regulate. And that's kind of the major point of the judgment about this here. Okay. And I wanted to stop sharing the screen, so let's do that. That tunnel effect is always dizzying. The thing is here, we're going to next be learning about macroeconomic policy and how to use it to intervene with those problems when the economy does not self-regulate. Fiscal will be the first one we talk about, and then monetary policy the second. All right,